name is Dave DeCheck. I'm the Director of Development here for the Denver Area Council. With us tonight, we have Mike Fifehouse, who is our Deputy Scout Executive. And of course, everyone knows Steve Atwater. He's our featured guest, our keynote speaker for the 44th Annual Sports Breakfast. We're honored to have you, Steve. Thank you for joining us tonight to kick this off. And I'd like to really turn it over to talk about why you're involved and maybe talk a little bit about your experience yesterday and actually getting out to try scouting out for the first time and what you're looking forward to through the event.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm truly excited. I'm actually on the verge of being fired up, really to be a part of the sports breakfast and really to support the Scouts in our community. When I was 8 years old, I started playing youth football. I played for as long as I could, and really football taught me a lot of valuable life lessons. And many of those lessons have helped me to survive and thrive throughout my journey so far. And some of those lessons were learned the hard way by, touching the hot stove, so to speak. And, those were lessons that weren't necessarily verbalized. You just kind of learned them the hard way. And just by experience. And with scouting, I see that the lessons, they're not found out the hard way. They're taught, they're verbalized, they're explained to the Scouts with not as much touching the hot stove, which I think is a lot easier on people when you don't have to touch the hot stove so much. I just think scouting helps prepare our youth for success. It helps instill confidence, courage, survival skills, communication skills, leadership. Most importantly, how to be great human beings. And it achieves this again while being fun, interactive, and also enjoyable to the Scouts. So, I got a chance to go over yesterday to the Colorado Adventure Point, and I was really blown away. It's over in Lakewood, and I couldn't help but think about, if I had been a scout in addition to playing football. I don't know if I would have had enough time to do both, but I think I would have been a lot more confident. Although I have a pretty good amount of confidence, I think I would have been a little bit more confident, a little less hesitant to try things. The Scouts yesterday, I watched them. They were taught archery, wood burning, or I think the name of it is pyrography. Is that correct? Pyrography.
Sounds just right, Steve.
Yeah, that's it. They did that, rock climbing, woodworking, and several other fun and interesting activities. And as I watched them go from kind of being a little bit hesitant in the beginning to they just kind of let it all hang out. They let themselves have a really good time. They were laughing and really having fun while learning some valuable lessons and being disciplined at the same time. And I think that's what life is all about there. Being able to have a good time, but also learn those valuable lessons. Always I talk to football coaches sometimes, and I tell them, like, can you imagine if our youth didn't have football or other sports or other activities, and if we didn't have scouting, what would all of our youngsters, what would they do? They would go crazy, and they would probably drive us crazy as well. So it's such an honor to be here talking with you all, and just so you know, it's really a big deal. Scouting is a big deal. It's extremely important. I think it's one of the essential activities that the kids be able to be in a safe environment where they can learn and they can express themselves, they can grow their confidence, and we're getting the next leaders of tomorrow ready for that. And you guys are playing a huge part in that. So thank you very much. And I want to personally just thank each and every one of you for committing to be a team captain, I realized it's kind of difficult to raise your hands and say, all right, hey, I'm in. But many times that's what leaders do. Leaders take on responsibilities that many times others don't want to do. And I know everyone at the Denver Area Council appreciates you. The Scouts appreciate you, although the Scouts may not be able to tell you how much just yet. I think their appreciation will be shown in their acts and deeds in the future. Again, they're our future leaders, and they're going to make you proud. Also, there is an incentive, right? The first 300 team captains to register and secure 5 gifts in support of scouting, they're going to receive an autographed photo of me. And hopefully you'll like it. But again, what you guys are doing is big. I think the goal is 200,000. Is that right?
Correct.
Oh man. Hey, and again, I know it's not easy, but again, you guys raise your hands, decided to be a leader, decided to stand out from the crowd, and it's going to make you a better person. Makes you more confident, just like the Scouts are. When you raise your hand and put yourself on the line, you can feel good about that, and you know that it's for a wonderful cause, our youth. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. It's our honor to have you involved with this event. It means a lot to us as professionals, but I know it means a lot to our volunteers and to our Scouts as well. And so thank you. I will remind everybody that if you have questions, please put them into the Q&A section right now, or throughout the rest of the evening. We're gonna talk through about the sports breakfast. If you haven't attended it before, give you a little bit of background. But if you have a question for Steve, now would be the time to put it in there to talk about anything you want. His favorite hit, which one of the Broncos uniforms was his favorite to wear. There's definitely some fun colors they had back in the day. Those are the fun things that I enjoy talking to Steve about. I asked him yesterday his favorite hit, and maybe that's the photo we should get. And I think this famous hit is probably his most famous hit of all time. I can't imagine what was going through your mind that day. Is there any story you could tell in a quick 1-minute version of your hit on Christian Okoye?
Yeah, well, when I was drafted to Denver, of course, Charlie Waters was a defensive backs coach. He had played with the Dallas Cowboys, and Dennis Smith, he was the other safety. And I had so much respect for both of those guys. And we're in the meeting room, and Dennis Smith, his left arm, he can't lift it up too high. And he was like pointing to the film, and he's like, hey, throwing his arm up, like, hey man, we gotta make sure we hit him up high. Don't go down low on him. And I was young, so I just said, okay, whatever you say, that's what we got to do. And fortunately, it worked out to where I was the last man standing in that collision. Now that didn't always work out like that, but fortunately on that day, it turned out in my favor. So. That was one of my favorite games too.
That's great. So Steve, we have 2 questions that have come in.
Okay.
Jeff Brandell is one of our board members.
Hey,
incredible supporter of scouting. He said, and this is something I didn't know about you. You were a high school quarterback, is what he says. And I said, did you ever take it easy on QBs in the NFL since you were one in high school?
No, I didn't. And a funny story about the quarterback situation. I was a quarterback in high school, and I wanted to play quarterback in college, but I really wasn't that good. And in high school, I threw some interceptions, but then I would go down and I'd make the tackle. And I think that's what the coaches liked more than anything was that guy can tackle after he throws the interception more so than that ugly pass that I threw. And my coaches at Arkansas, they reeled me in just by telling me I could play quarterback. And then 3 days, and we've been practicing for 3 days, and our head coach, Ken Hatfield, called me in the office and told me, hey, Steve, we want to move you over to safety. It's probably going to be a while for you if you stay at the quarterback. You may not play for at least 3 years. But if you move to safety, you can travel with the team and learn the speed of the game and all that. So I made the switch, and the rest is history. But, yeah, I wasn't that good of a quarterback. I was a quarterback, but I wasn't very good. So my coaches, they saw that in me, and they made the right change.
I like that commitment to follow through, Steve. The play didn't end with the interception. It ended once you tackled him.
That's just start.
That's great. I got one more question for you, Steve, and then you're welcome to stick around as long as you want to. We'll get into some. We might have one more, maybe two more. Kyle Tuns, he's our STEM executive. He actually works for the council, runs our STEM programs for scouts. He asked, who is the hardest wide receiver to D up on one-on-one?
Oh, man. You know what? I got to say Jerry Rice, because my rookie year, we played them in the Super Bowl, and we had been practicing this play where I'd line up on the line of scrimmage, and then, he would line up on the right side of the formation. I'm on the line of scrimmage on the left, and I'd back off. I think like I was blitzing, and then back off about 5 yards, and Jerry Rice would come across, and I would just smash him. And in practice, it just worked out perfectly. And then in the Super Bowl, my rookie year, it unfolded perfectly, and I got a chance to lay him out, man, and it seemed like he just absorbed the blow and ran into the end zone. And I'm laying there on the ground looking up at Jerry Rice like, what the heck happened? So I think still in my mind, Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver that I've ever played against.
That's great. And one more question here for you. There's a thank you for being our keynote from Matt Wasserman.
Oh, thank you. I am definitely honored. I've learned about scouting here over the last several months, and I'm all in, man. It's again, like I said, I think it's a vital activity, and what you all are doing is extremely important. So I'm all in. Thank you.
That's great. He asked, do you have a most memorable mentor in football?
Oh, most memorable. You know what? I would have to say Dennis Smith. I chose him as my presenter. And a close second would be Charlie Waters, who was my defensive backs coach. Those guys just really took me under their arms and took me under their wings and taught me everything that they knew. And, I listened. I didn't question anything that they said. And I tried to do it just like they laid it out, and they didn't lead me wrong. And I still have great relationships with both of those guys to this day. And not only were they great players and coaches and mentors, but just great human beings. And I'm extremely lucky to have them in my life.
That's incredible. We have two more questions, Steve, if you still have time. Are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Okay, great. Steve Caldera, he's one of our volunteers down in the Black Feather District, which is South Denver.
All right, Steve, what do you say, baby?
Parker, Castle Rock, all those areas.
Yeah, I'm right down that way, man.
Oh, awesome. We'll have to get you a uniform, get you volunteering with a unit down there.
There we go.
So the question is there one thing you learned in football that is something we can impart to our scouts, something they can learn from?
Oh man, you know what? I think that they learn this thing. This is one thing that I learned from football, is that not to complain. The situation is what it is, and it's just like that's what I think has helped me deal with the coronavirus so well, is because I'm used to having to adapt and really kind of go with the flow and not be upset about it. There are some things that we just can't control. And those things, I try not to get in a big tizzy about it, because you can get in a big tizzy, but you're just going to be in a tizzy. Can't do anything about it. It's still going to be there. So being able to realize the things that we can't control and have the mental the mental capacity to say, I can't control it. Let's set that aside. What can I do something about? And let's focus on that. But I think the scouts, that's kind of embedded in the teaching and all that same type of mentality, because the scouts are in a space to where they can make mistakes. They are taking risks in a safe environment, and they can learn from it and realize that some things they just can't control. So I wouldn't say that that's lacking from the scouting.
Incredible. The Reed Benfield. I don't know Reed. Hopefully someday I get to meet him. But he has a question here. He goes, "How would you adjust your game with the rules of the game today?"
Oh, you know what, Reed? I would have to, because otherwise you get fined and you'd hurt your team. You get penalties and that. But I don't think I hit with my head too much. I did some. I know I led with my face some, because I would try to put my forehead right under their chin, right here. And, I know that's not right, but back then I didn't know any better. But I would just adjust and just not use my head at all. And many times I would just go in there and I would try and tackle with my whole body, just with my upper body, my chest area, just run in full speed and just see what happens, and just, try to absorb the blow and wrap up, versus, lowering my head. Because, as I got older, the more I use my head, the more it hurt. I get dizzy. So just going in and wrapping up good solid tackles. But just have to, I would do more of that, and just make sure that my shoulders were super strong by doing a lot of dumbbell lifts and push-ups and, all kinds of stuff to keep my shoulders strong.
That's great. And the last question we have right now says, "You'll be entering the elite fraternity of the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Which player or players will you always see at Hall of Fame functions and still be in awe, even though you'll both be Hall of Famers?"
Oh man, that's a good one there. Well, this guy, he's my friend already. Barry Sanders is one of those guys. We shared the same agent, Peter Schaefer. He's here and lives here in Denver. Peter Schaefer and Lamont Smith. And so he's one of the guys. And then the other guy is my other's favorite safety, in addition to Dennis Smith, is Ronnie Lott. He's always just the nicest guy you ever want to meet. And I remember the year that I came out in the draft, I went to the NBA All-Star game. I believe it was in Houston, and I saw him up in the stands, and he didn't know who I was. And I was with my fiance then, my wife of 29 years. It'll be 30 years this year. And I stopped. I was like, "Whoa, that's Ronnie Lott up there." And she said, "Well, go say something to him." I was like, "Oh man, what if he's mean?" But I went up and I said hello to him. "Hey, come on, man, sit down." And he talked to me for 10 minutes and just was the nicest guy ever. And we created a relationship while we were playing in the league. We played in several Pro Bowls together. And he's just a great guy. And I'm still like, I can't believe that I even know Ronnie Lott,
Thank you so much, Steve, for sharing some time with us. I know we have a lot to cover tonight. There's more questions. The one I really like, I'm going to ask you one more. And
Okay.
then I promise I'll quit asking, I think. We'll see. I really like this. Is from Doc Doolittle. He's been a long-time scout volunteer as well. It seems you'll get that. Once you start volunteering, you love the organization so much, you just stick around.
Right.
And so you'll hear us say long-time scout volunteer forever, probably. He says, after seeing and experiencing what scouting does for youth, what is the one thing in life that you believe what you would have been better at if you would have participated as a youth?
Being fearless in the outdoors, because right now I go outside. I'm not too good with my fishing skills, my cooking skills outdoors, and I would have felt a lot more comfortable when I'm out and about, fishing and doing all those things. I go out and I fish some, but I'm not nearly as good as I should be at all the outdoor activities. I'd be better at archery. I tried that yesterday and I was terrible. I'd be much better with archery as well.
Well, I will extend the invitation. Anytime you want to come down to camp and experience scouting, we will find room for you there once we open back up next summer.
All right. Hey, I'm looking forward to it.
Great. Well, Steve, thank you again for joining us. It's truly an honor. We're very fortunate to have you be our keynote speaker for the 44th Annual Sports Breakfast.
Hey, Dave, Mike, thank you guys so much. And again, man, you guys are doing good work, man. And I appreciate it. And I know, like I said, all the youngsters, they may not tell you or express it to you now, but you'll see their thanks and all the great things that they do in the future. So thank you for your contributions for that.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. As everyone said, we are very appreciative. 44th Annual Sports Breakfast keynote speaker of all the years to join our event here. You picked this year, but we're grateful it's you. You've had a lot of flexibility in working with us. You've adjusted to everything that we've thrown at you. We're going virtual. You're going to be a part of that. So we're just excited to have you. It's been a pleasure to get to work with you and know you. And I look forward to continuing that process. So thank you for what you do to support us.
Sam here. It's been an honor, and again, I'm still learning, and I'm really enjoying building this relationship. So I appreciate you.
And thanks for being here tonight to support our team captains. I'm sure they enjoyed it, and it's a critical role for us. Thanks for joining us tonight as well.
Absolutely. Let's go. Let's raise that money.
Yes, I like it.
All right,
Steve, you're more than welcome to stay as long as you can tonight. I know you've got some other commitments as well, so if you need to jump off, that's just fine. But we're going to get into some of the details of our meeting tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to let you guys go ahead and do that, take care of business. And again, thank everyone out there. We appreciate you, and good luck. If I can do anything, be of service, let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. Enjoy your night.
All right. Have a good one.
Take care. Well, Dave, I think it's my turn to just jump in and talk some of these topics this evening. Is that correct?
Go ahead, Mike.
So just in case there's anyone joining us tonight who has not been a part of the sports breakfast previously, we wanted to cover a little bit about the background of the event. I'll kind of hit some highlights, and then if you have more details you'd like to know, hopefully your staff advisor as a team captain can work with you. But this is our 44th event. You've heard that mentioned a couple times. This is the longest running sports themed fundraising event in the entire nation for the scouting organization. So we are truly unique in that aspect. As you just saw this evening, we have a great keynote speaker, and we have a long history of great celebrity keynote speakers. We've had Wayne Gretzky, Chauncey Billups, Champ Bailey last year, Peyton Manning just a few years ago. And that's always been something we can rely upon, is a very impactful keynote to help us with the visibility, securing sponsorships, and the event itself. Several years now, in the recent past, we've had our sports breakfast downtown at the Pepsi Center. We are the only nonprofit fundraising event to be on the floor of the Pepsi Center to host us there. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 800 to 1,000 guests have joined us every year. Program has featured scouting impact stories in addition to the keynote address. And the whole purpose of this is to raise funds for the scouts of the Denver area and Western Colorado. We have sponsorships. So we sell tables and sponsorships to the event. And then we have our day of event giving to the investment and character campaign. Obviously this year, with the safety of everyone in mind, we're going virtual. Dave mentioned earlier it's something completely new and foreign to us, but we're going to give it a shot because, number one, it's the right thing to do to make sure that we are continuing to support scouting through the sports breakfast, but also to keep in mind where we're at as a community and as a society with this pandemic around us. So it's an exciting adventure. We're already in production. As you just heard, Steve was out filming yesterday with some scouts. We've got some more filming coming up in the next couple weeks. The show will be broadcast on August 26th from 8 to 9 a.m. And after that, it'll be available for viewing through that site as well. So for those of you that might be thinking about a watch party or sharing the information after 9 a.m. on the 26th, it'll be available for everyone to see. I just mentioned some of the key categories of revenue for the sports breakfast. And honestly, the sports breakfast every year and this year is about 10% of the annual operations for the Denver Area Council. So it is pretty essential to the success of scouting in our communities to help fund our program for the scouts. And as team captains, or what we've called in previous years with an in-person event, table hosts, you play a critical role in helping us raise funds, or what I guess has been called our day of event giving, but now we have a much broader campaign to help raise those funds. And we're going to tell you a lot about that this evening, what tools and resources are available to you, and how we're going to provide these new resources to do it in a virtual format. One of the things we really wanted to focus on this year, obviously we have our investment in character campaign, and that's been essential to us here in the Denver Area Council for quite some time. We've created 4 targeted giving opportunities this year. I want to take just a minute to kind of highlight those. They are on our QGive page if you've already done your registration as a fundraiser or as a team captain. But just to kind of highlight those real quick, we have a Western Colorado Fund. We had an opportunity for Denver Area Council and Western Colorado Council to merge last year. We have a huge geography with about 1,000 youth involved in Western Colorado. We want to make sure they're supported. So we have a fund specifically for Western Colorado. We have a Scouting for All Youth, and this would be all of those programs that we implement to make sure that there are no barriers for youth to join the scouting program, whether that's financial, whether it's leadership, whatever those concerns are. We want to make sure that youth can join. And in particular, that's our LEAP program, Leadership Assistance Program, where we have designated program sites where we provide the leadership, the resources, the tools for youth to participate in our scouting programs. We have our Scout Assistance Fund. Obviously, many families are challenged right now with the COVID-19 pandemic. We want to make sure that whatever the situation is, we're helping families continue to participate in scouting and not have additional barriers to being involved right now. So if that's virtual resources or a handbook or something that they need to stay involved, let's help all scouts continue their path in the scouting journey. And then we have what we've called Make an Impact. We all know, being involved in scouting, how much an impact we have on kids. We want to make sure that we can continue to make that impact. So everything that we can do to help provide consistent programming and resources for families, leaders, and the youth, that's what that Make an Impact Fund will go to. So if I could, Dave, ask you to go ahead and pull up the team captain position description. I want to take just a minute to kind of go through some of those details. If you haven't seen this already, then this might be new information, but we want to double check that you're aware of all the details, what's going to happen somewhat with the event, and what your objectives are as a team captain. So you can see at the top there, I'm just going to start with the event details section. We've mentioned August 26th, 8 to 9 a.m. That'll be the live airing. And there'll be a link available. Like I mentioned, it's always going to be on that website for you to host a watch party if that's something you're considering at your preferred time. We got to meet Steve tonight. Our MC is confirmed as Susie Wargen. We are going to have a couple scouting impact stories that relate directly to those giving opportunities I just shared with you. And then appearances by additional athletes and sports personalities. We're still working on some of those to have some key highlights, I'll call it, for our Sports Breakfast virtual show. So what we really want to focus on this evening, being a team captain, is those objectives and the resources and support for you. Obviously, we want to work with you to establish a fundraising goal and achieve that. We want to work to secure the investment in character gifts from 8 to 10 guests. That's our typical table size. If you have an opportunity to reach further than that, that's a welcome as well. You can host an in-person watch party if that's something that you're interested in and comfortable with, or there are ways that you can do an online connection for the virtual Sports Breakfast show. And then something completely different this year is we're not limited. You can share that link via your social network, family, friends, LinkedIn, whatever you want to do as far as sharing that. It can reach anyone and everyone, frankly, in the world this year. So those would be the 4 objectives we'd like to ask you to focus on as a team captain: is achieve the goal, secure the gifts, host a party if you want to, or do a virtual party, and then see if we can share that out there as much as possible so we get a substantial amount of viewership from our virtual show this year. To make sure that you can fulfill all this, we want to partner you with a staff advisor. That'll be someone who can walk through the steps, provide you support, guidance, resources, whatever it is that you need to be successful. We'll make sure that you have access to all the virtual information, invites, Any resources that we can create, we want to have those available for you. If you do choose to host an in-person event, we want to provide you with the watch party kit, some tools and resources for hosting a group in person and being able to conduct that process for asking for their gifts, similar to what you would if you have hosted a table with us previously. Steve mentioned this incentive already. Anyone who signs up to be a team captain and is successful in getting 5 gifts, no dollar amount to that, just 5 gifts that you secure. We'll get an autographed photo of Steve. And then we're doing these, rally kickoff training tonight. We've got another one scheduled in 2 weeks, just to make sure we're continuing to update you with information and that you're prepared for your role. So make a commitment and action steps. That really talks about registering as a team captain. We're going to go into some of those details in just a minute here. And I think the rest of that we've kind of covered, or Dave's going to cover when we start talking about the QGive platform and how that works. So I think what I want to do right now, just pause a little bit. I want to say thank you. I know it's been said a lot tonight, but you can never say thank you too much. Thank you for making the time commitment to be a team captain, for stepping up to say, I'm going to help raise funds for the sports breakfast. And Dave, I know we have some Q&A time later. If there's anything we need to address now, I'd be happy to. If not, we'll save them all for the Q&A after you get done sharing the fundraising page information.
Absolutely. So one question from Preston Gibson. If I'm correct, Preston's one of our Valley volunteers. He asked, what's the difference between a team captain and a table host?
Essentially, Preston, nothing. We've just renamed it this year because table host didn't seem to fit with a virtual event. So if you've been a table host in the past, that is essentially the same role as a team captain. You're still being asked to help connect with people in your network, ask them to support scouting, and use the sports breakfast as the function to do that. Just instead of sitting at a table in the Pepsi Center, we'll be virtual this year or hosting a watch party in our homes or businesses.
Great. And I will remind anyone that didn't hear the talk earlier is that as you have questions, put them in the Q&A section and we will address them and try to answer every single question that's out there. And so, Mike, I believe this is my turn to talk about QGive a little bit.
Yep.
QGive, just as a big overview, obviously knowing that we can't get together in person. If you've been there in person, you've seen the packet of pledge forms with ask for everyone that attends. We ask our table host back then to pass those out during a 3-minute quiet session, and everyone fills them out. This year we can't do that, obviously. And so we have partnered with a company called QGive. They specialize in peer-to-peer fundraising to help us broaden our outreach and provide a dedicated giving site that is easy to manage, that has templates for outreach, whether that's through social media or email. It helps us track individual goals, team goals, district goals, as well as our overall big $200,000 investment in character goal. We're excited about it. It's definitely revolutionizes some of the things that we've done in fundraising for the Denver Area Council. I will share my screen here so that we can do a quick walkthrough of how to register. I know I've seen a lot of names come through as team captains already that are on this call tonight. So thank you for jumping on it and registering to support scouting. But I'll walk you through. It's really easy to register. And so I'll share my screen here again. And this is how you to register to be a team captain. And we will email this document out after this call to everyone that registered for this webinar, so you know. And so the QGive site is here. We'll share it out. It's been in every email and social media post recently about Sports Breakfast as well. But there's 2 ways that you can register. At the top of the screen on QGive, you'll see a register, or you could also click this down below the thermometer here that says register for this event. When you do, there's two options. You can click to register as a team captain or fundraiser. So if you already know you're joining a team, this is still the button. So you either create your team or you join a team that's already been created. And the second way is to register to attend the event. This is a non-fundraising option, and we're not here to talk about non-fundraising events. So once you click that, it'll walk you through. It'll have you sign up with your email address, click the sign up button, and then it'll ask you to select your district or council structure. When you do this, obviously you know what district you're in, whether it's Alpine or Majestic Mesa's, the Leadership Assistance Program. That helps us track on the back end which BSA structure and district gets that money should be supporting, and where your involvement really is. If you're not involved with one of the districts, you're welcome to click the Denver Area Council. That goes to support scouting as a whole. We use that specifically, and that's the general overall giving. As you create your team, if you're not joining a team, you give yourself a team name like Scouting is Great or the Alpine Giving District, and give yourself a goal. There's a few things, and I'll dive into the QGIF site and let you see. There's a resource section after you've created your team page that will have a goal setting worksheet there. It's an Excel sheet of how many prospects that you have that you're going to ask to attend and donate, and what that average dollar amount that you're asking for. It helps you work out that goal to be successful. You have enter your personal donation, and 8 is really one of the most important things, is to make your donation first. It gets your team some momentum. We always say in fundraising that it's hard to ask for money if you don't support the organization yourself. Now, we know that a lot of people in this call have already donated this year. If you're in a position to add a small amount to your team, great. We definitely would appreciate that, but we know everything you're doing for scouting is appreciated, and there's no question about that. I don't think anyone questions the loyalty of the people willing to spend a Tuesday evening talking about scouting and how to fundraise. So thank you for that. And then number 9 is really the main one. You're ready to go. You can go out and recruit other team members. You can push that out through social media. There are email templates in there that you can use. You can update them and change them around. But that is the quick overview of how to sign up for a team captain. So we have one question here from Steve Caldera. What is a reasonable range to set as a goal, assuming 8 to 10 team members?
Great question, Steve, with probably a variety of answers or a wide range of answers. I think part of that would be looking at those that you plan to ask for support and what you think they might be capable of donating. If you're going to ask 10 people for $100 each, there's $1,000. If you feel you have some on your list who have more capacity, then you may want to set your goal a little bit higher. So I think some of it involves the analysis of who you're going to connect with and who you're going to ask to support your team and what their capacity is, rather than just a standard dollar amount. I've seen everything on we have a team captain tracker for all of those that are joining us as a team captain this year. And I've seen everything from a $500 goal to a $10,000 goal so far. So I think it's a wide range, and it depends on who you're connecting with.
That's great. The other questions, remember to put them into the Q&A section. We'll be here. We will try to answer as many as we can. We do have one coming in from Preston that says, tell us how the watch party works. Is this for during the event?
Sure. So again, I think there's options. A watch party could be during the event. It could be that afternoon. Very honestly, it could be a week and a half later if you wanted to do something on Saturday afternoon, the weekend following the event. That is certainly available and accessible to you. So part of what we've really analyzed in this process is creating flexibility, because we know that it's not the same as a focused event on one morning downtown at the Pepsi Center that we're inviting everyone to be a part of. So people have different approaches that they want to take to it. So we want to make sure that we support those approaches that you want to implement to be successful for your fundraising effort. So if you'd like to host a watch party on, I don't know if September 3rd is a Tuesday, but let's say Tuesday, September 3rd, a week after or more than a week after the event, we absolutely support that idea. We'd encourage you to do so and create an environment that's going to make you successful, not lock us all into 8 to 9 a.m. on August 26th. So if that's your interest, or if you have a different process that you'd like to execute, please reach out to us and let us know. We want to support you to be successful, not tell you there's only one way to do it this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And that show goes live at 8 a.m., but that link will work until we take it down, which isn't going to be quickly. And so it'll be up for at least 30 days. We know it'll be probably there for a little bit longer than that as well. And we want to make sure that we keep promoting it after the 8 to 9 o'clock live version. So Cindy is another Valley volunteer. So we cannot host a watch party before the morning of August 26th, ?
Correct. That will be the live airing, as we're calling it, or the broadcast of the Sports Breakfast Show will be 8 to 9 a.m. on August 26th. So starting at 9:01 a.m., it will be available for rewatching, but not prior to.
Mike, we have a question from Elisa asking if we could walk the group through an example of a watch party.
Sure. So I'll kind of use the one example that I threw out there, a Saturday afternoon, a week and a half after the event. You know what? I'm going to walk through two examples as I say that. I'm kind of thinking out loud here. One could be if you're comfortable with your guests and you would like to host something in your home. You could have a watch party in your home with those that you have on your list to invite. You could do hors d'oeuvres or snacks or whatever you might feel comfortable with for the group, and have it linked to, maybe hook your computer up to a TV screen so it'd be a little bit larger. Once the time comes for you to start the show, you could just click on the link and the show would play. For you as team captains, we will have a specific message during the show to do your process, I'll call it. Typically during the event, if you've been a table host with us in the past, there's an actual moment where we do an ask. We kind of pause the show and we give everybody, pause the event, I guess, and give everybody opportunity to fill out their pledge cards and turn it back to their table host. So there will be something similar, that there will be a specific time where, team captains, now is the time for you to conduct your process if you're hosting a party. So that will be included, so you won't miss that element, and there'll be something in the show to work with your members on for that fundraising element. The other factor is with the virtual event, it will be available for people to give multiple times. So the Donate Now button will be active the entire time the show is available. There's also a text to give component. So if you send the keyword character to 50155, it'll prompt you to complete a gift as well. So we have some increased elements this year to be able to make that giving available. So somebody could pull out their phone right there while they're watching the show with you in your home. They could do the keyword character to 50155 and they could start making their gift right there on their phone. Another example might be if you have an office environment and you'd like to get people together in a large conference room, you could have it on a big screen there as well, and you could host a watch party for breakfast or maybe the lunch hour during the business day and do the same process, right? You start the show when you're ready to for your group. Technically, you could pause at any time if you needed to take breaks, but you'd have that show available to you and execute your process as team captain for a watch party.
I will add to that, Mike, is that we've heard some people wanting to do a virtual watch party as well, to where you could get together on a Zoom or a Google Hangouts and actually play the video through that software so you can interact in real time while everyone is sharing a screen and watching.
That's a great suggestion, especially for those who may not feel comfortable getting together in a group right now. You can still have the same operation, I'll call it, as far as being a host of a watch party. It would just be virtual instead of in person.
So Cindy has another question here. It says, can there be a way to track who is having a watch party, when, where, and what type?
So if I'm understanding that question correctly, and Dave, maybe you can clarify if you have a different opinion, it is, can we create a listing of the team captains who have chosen to host a watch party, whether it's in person or virtual? Is that the same impression you had?
It is.
Okay, then
Yeah.
I'd say absolutely. We already have, as I mentioned before, a tracker of all the team captains, so we could just add a column to that tracker and share it with every team captain as far as who is having a watch party and how they're conducting it.
Absolutely. Matt Wasserman asked the question of, if you reach out to someone that can't watch the event or attend a watch party, can they still give?
100%. Great question, Matt. You can share with them the link to your team fundraising page, and they can give through that. You could also ask them to further the message by sharing the link to the event or to the fundraising page as well. So they could not only give, they could help you further your message as a team captain.
Great. Ray LaFrance, am I hearing that we can do multiple watch parties?
100%. Like Dave said, we'll have that link available for for at least 30 days after the event. If not longer, we can keep it up there as long as you'd like it to be accessible for watch parties. So there would be no limit, in my opinion, as far as your willingness is the limit on how many watch parties you want to host.
Right. It sounds like we're booking Ray for about 3 or 4 weekends to host these parties for us. So
perfect. I like it. Thank you, Ray.
Preston asks, what are the marketing materials we can use to attract people to join our table, and when will they be available?
So some of those already are available through the QGive platform. Dave, I don't know if you've had a chance to actually show, I know you talked about it, and maybe we'll get through some of these questions and you can go back to the QGive platform and show some of the details there. There's a resources section on QGive that we're going to continue to be populating with these pieces of information or tools that you can use to share. We're also going to continue to do the support and awareness like we did for today's event, where we have email invites, social media posts, and some other unique things to connect with the Sports Breakfast show. And you could certainly share all of those, whether it's a promotional video about attending the event. We have an additional team captain rally coming up in 2 weeks. So I think there's a lot of things we'll continue to do that you can always utilize those and share them out yourself as well.
Great. Cindy asks, what platforms are available to host a virtual watch party, and what technical assistance is available to help those who need it?
So to my knowledge, any of the group meeting platforms that we've been utilizing in this pandemic time would be available, as long as you can share a screen and a link so that everybody could be watching at the same time. Technical assistance is probably going to be best coordinated through your staff advisor and us finding the resources to best help you with your particular situation. I can't tell you who not to call for technical assistance, but we'll find you the right person that you can call.
You mean having a broken computer every week is not a good resume builder? Absolutely
not. So, but Cindy, we will make sure that it can happen for you, whatever you need. We'll find the right resources and assistance for you to solve your challenges.
Great. Elisa asks, is there a minimum gift amount or a maximum for that matter?
Dave, I may have to ask for your help on the minimum, if there's any minimum required on the QGive platform. So that's a no.
There is not.
So there is not a minimum, and there is not a maximum. So choose anything that you would like to give to scouting.
Great. Stephanie asks, what are the sponsorship options for any businesses that might be interested?
Excellent. So the easiest way to probably connect you with that is be able to share the link to the sponsorship brochure on our website. And I don't know if you can efficiently help me out with that, Dave, and share that link maybe through our chat function.
Yeah.
But
Charlie,
can
you take care of that?
Even better idea. There are sponsorships that are available. A Entry-level table is $3,500, but there are some additional advertising sponsorships available as well. But that sponsorship brochure will cover all of it. So we'll get that link put up there for you so you can see that and utilize that.
We have a shout out to Ray for hosting all those watch parties from Cindy. Thanks, Ray. And then Cindy asked if some of these platforms are better than others for sharing videos. So would it be better to have documents on how to do this? Not to Adam, but Ray could possibly help with this. Ray is literally going to do everything for us. Thank you, Ray.
I'm going to say yes, if that's going to be helpful to your process. We can certainly create some how-to documents in support of what platforms might be best or most functional to utilize for hosting a virtual watch party.
Great, and Ray says yes. So what we will do, and most of us know Ray probably on the call here. I'd be happy to work with you, Ray, and talk through some of the options that you think will be best that are free out there. I know we do have a few options within the council as well. If you know you're going to have a massive watch party that we could work through your staff advisor on. But there are a lot of free options out there right now that have been made free during this situation.
Real quick, Charlie, if I could ask you to repost that to all panelists and attendees. I think only panelists can see that link that you've shared right now. Perfect.
Great. What other questions do we have? We have about 6 minutes in our allotted time. I know I'm willing to stick around if there are more questions and answer anything. I can show you a quick view of the team captain page for fundraising on the QGive site. I will share my screen and just kind of do a couple quick pointers here on where to something. So after you've signed up for QGive and for your team page or your individual giving page, and you've joined a team, you have access to this dashboard here where you can track your goal. You'll have the links to your page, to your team page, as well as the option for resources here, which right now the only thing in here is our team captain position description that we shared online. Going in here tonight or tomorrow will be your goal worksheet, your tracker on who to invite, a playbook on how to be successful. A lot of those things are in creation right now. Will go up here within the next 24 hours as you get started. But once you're back at your dashboard, one of the neat things is you can share directly to Facebook here and add it out. You can add people to your registration if you know someone wants to watch and you want to make sure that they get an invitation with the link. You can add them right there. You can also send a fundraising email. And so you get to talk about this is a custom email here. You can choose a template if you want to choose. So we have ask others to join your team, ask others to donate. And of course, from the team captain, anyone that a custom thank you to your team donors. And so these are all things you get, and once you choose this template, it auto-populates. You can make edits here. You have a lot of the autofill that will fill in, but the tags, I guess they're called in QGive, but you can edit this as much as you want to personalize it. These are just templates. We will add new templates throughout the entire process as different challenges happen or as we get closer to the event, but we want to make sure that you have all the success and all the tools for your success that you need. Of course, when you hit share on Facebook, you can share your fundraising page, your personal or your team page, create some messaging there, and it auto-populates right out to Facebook, and will link back to your giving pages. You can also manage your whole team, the donations that came in here. So for my team, I have $55 raised towards a $500 goal, 11%. I am crushing it. It's all my test donations. I'm not sure it counts, but it does for me. And you can also manage your registration. So if you know you have different people coming in, you can do it here. I don't have any team members right now, but if I did, this would change, and you could see how many people are registered, how many people they have raised towards our overall goal. But you can completely manage your process here, from team badges that you can earn, from top fundraiser, most donors, fundraising achieved, and we're adding some new ones, like when you get your first 5 gifts, you'll get a badge for earning the Steve Atwater autograph. So you can actually see when it happens in real time. And we are happy, once you sign up, if you have questions on this site and how it works, I am always happy to answer questions, walk you through it. Just work through your staff advisor, whether that's one of the district executives or one of the people on our development team, to set up a meeting. We'll be happy to walk you through personally on anything that we can. And again, we'll do another little training here in 2 weeks that I think we can announce who that's hosted by tonight. Yep. Go ahead, Mike. I'll let you do the honors.
Oh, sure. Thanks, Dave. Tuesday, August 11th will be our next team captain rally, and Peter J. Kors, our chair for the event, as well as he runs a little brewery over in Golden, will be our host and on the call with us that evening.
That's great. We do have another question from Preston here. We'll get here, and then we're out at 7 o'clock. We can finish, but we will stay on as long as people need and have questions for. And so Preston asks, since we don't really have tables this year, there is no reason that we can't have 12 or 14 or more guests or attendees, correct?
100%. If you have 92 guests, you can have 92 guests participate with you this year. The 8 to 10 was kind of a guideline to keep it in a similar parameter, but you are not limited by any quantity this year at all.
We are limited by 100,000. So we did check it. We stress test our network to make sure, and we can actually have 100,000 people watching this event live that morning. So that we are limited by that. So Preston, I hope you can get 99,000, but if you can get 100,000, we might be in trouble.
If you do get 100,000, let us know and we'll fix that before the event airs.
We absolutely will. It's easy to buy more server space.
Yes.
Great. Greg, are we getting this info out to other councils?
So there are some other councils that are aware of this and will be watching. I'm not sure how far it has reached out in the scouting network yet, but I know there are others that have already commented to several of our staff members that they will be watching, hopefully participating with the donation as well, but at least watching to see how this goes for us.
Absolutely. And we will share it as far and wide as we possibly can. There's one question that came in through the chat is, when will this copy of the meeting be available to share with those who could not attend?
We'll get it not transcribed, copied, downloaded as soon as we can, and we'll make all of you aware as staff advisors, and we'll put it out there on the resources page as well if we can. I'm not sure if that file will be too big for resources, but
yeah. But there's no videos able to upload to the resources page, but we will have it on our YouTube channel that you can share out with that link, and we'll make sure we share that out to anyone that attended as well. So one more question or clarification from Cindy here is, just to be clear about the technical assistance for hosting a virtual party, it is not for me. I know what to do, but others do not. I am hoping you can make some how-to documents to put under technical resources. And I agree, Cindy. I think that's a great opportunity for us to just make sure everyone's going to be successful from the start.
Yep, happy to do that.
Great. We are out of questions. We are just over our time tonight. Mike, I will turn it over to you to do our closing, but I will just say a quick thank you to all of our volunteers, our staff, our board members that have all joined us tonight. Steve's not here, he can't hear it, but I will thank him one more time. This is not possible without him and his commitment to scouting already in his short experience. It's been incredible to watch him. And for me, one of the highlights of my time in scouting was watching him interact with the scouts and and trying some of these activities yesterday for the first time. It was just a great experience. And so I'll turn it over to you, Mike. Thank you, volunteers. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate your support in this process. And I just want to reiterate the thank you to everyone on the call who is supporting this, from our volunteers to our board to our staff, who is really trying to make this happen. We've all had a challenging year. We've overcome obstacles and hurdles, and this is one more that we're going to overcome, is hosting the 44th Sports Breakfast virtually. Something new and different. We haven't done it the past 43 times, but we're going to do it this time, and we're going to be successful. We have a great committee that supported us through the process. We have amazing team captains that are signing up and growing every day. We want to know what else we can do to make sure that you're successful as you joined us for this effort. So if there's anything else we can do that you haven't had a chance to bring up tonight, please let us know. And please know how much we appreciate you for the efforts you're doing, not only in everything else you do in scouting, but to join on as a team captain and help raise these needed funds to keep scouting programs going for all of our youth.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Everyone have a wonderful evening, and let's keep scouting going.